Hello and welcome to the FinTech Finance Arena. I'm your host Doug McKenzie, and on today's episode we're going to be looking at banking as a service. Now joining me today are two guests from the organisation Finastra, and Finastra have just released a report all about banking as a service, but more importantly the underlying trends within. So I'd like to introduce Dee Burke and Josh Cogan.
Hi, I'm Dee Burke and I head up marketing here at Finastra for banking as a service.
Hi, I'm Josh Cogan. I'm a director and lead client partner for banking as a service here at Finastra.
Banking as a service is transforming financial services around the world. We're seeing big brands from ERP providers, retailers, e-commerce, now starting to offer financial services direct to their client. The distributor owns that point of contact with the client. The financial institution is the provider in the BaaS ecosystem, and they hold the license, the banking license. They provide the product, the banking product or service to the consumer. And the enabler facilitates and forges partnerships between the provider and the distributor, and then sort of makes that magic happen.
Guys, some of the facts and figures from this report have been absolutely incredible, and it's an incredible piece of work. So could you tell our audience a bit more about the report, where to find it and what they can expect from it?
Banking as a service is Finastra's big bet. We're going all in on this. We're aligning our product organisation, our sales, our marketing, our customer support, all to ensuring that we are the number one orchestrator of open finance. We saw a real gap in the market for market research in banking as a service, looking at the three constituents of enablers, distributors and providers. So we went out and we surveyed over 1,600 senior executives in this space, speaking to distributors, enablers and providers to get a real pulse check on the market. We looked at the value pools, we looked at the market maturity of the players, and we looked at how to play to win with BaaS. This research is now live at finastra.com. It's the Banking as a Service Outlook 2022, and you can find out more there. Banking as a service has gained unstoppable momentum. The research is clear.
What were some of the key findings?
85% of senior executives surveyed are either implementing their BaaS strategy now or they plan to do so in the next 12 to 18 months. The survey results demonstrate the importance of BaaS to all parties in the ecosystem. 60 to 70% of distributors plan to increase their spending on financial partnerships. 40 to 50% of enablers want to increase their BaaS partnerships by more than 50%. And 30% of providers expect the market to grow by more than 50% over the next 5 years.
Executives who we surveyed observed that today most BaaS offerings are focused on the retail segment of the market. We have offerings such as accounts, cards and payments, and point-of-sale financing, which has experienced rapid growth over the last couple of years. We expect that growth to continue over the next 3 years, but also for more diverse BaaS offerings to come to the market. And those offerings are really going to come in the form of corporate banking. We see value pools in areas such as SME lending, corporate treasury and FX services. And when we look at SME lending in particular, that's a market which today drives over $250 billion of annual revenues in the banking industry. Our executives again observed that SME lending revenues from banking as a service channels is expected to grow by 30% over the next 3 years.
I mean, Josh, those numbers are incredible. 250 billion in the SME lending space is absolutely just mind-blowing. So to follow on with that, what are some of the key findings from the Market Maturity Index?
Yeah, so we developed a first of its kind Banking as a Service Market Maturity Index. And the purpose of that was to try and identify what areas of the market were most mature in terms of the propositions that they have brought. We saw that providers and distributors are the most mature areas of the market, whereas enablers, being a relatively new participant in the market, are lacking. Over the next 3 years, they are going to grow significantly, the enablers, and we forecast that they will catch up with the providers and distributors over that time period. With our Market Maturity Index score, we saw that the enablers are going to grow by 4.3% annually over the next 3 years.
And just to add to that, the Maturity Index, we really looked at the characteristics and traits of the pioneers who are the most mature, and we tried to dive into some of their strategy and really highlight that to the newer entrants in the market so that they could learn from those lessons.
And moving on, what are some of the key takeaways from the distributors?
Well, first of all, more than a third of distributors that we surveyed expect their own BaaS revenues to increase by 15% per year over the next 3 years. Today, most of the distributors are focused on offering products to the retail segment of the market, things like checking accounts, cards and payments, and of course retail point-of-sale financing. And over the next 3 years, we expect that area of the market to continue to grow at the very high rate we've seen to date, but also a shift away from retail banking products into corporate products. So things like SME lending, corporate lending and treasury and FX services. So one thing is really key in BaaS is that partnerships are key to success. Right? And in order to accelerate the development of your proposition and get it to market quickly, you need to seek the right capabilities through partnerships. We've seen that distributors, when looking to select their partners, look at a couple of really important factors when considering who to select. First of all, they want to see a variety of use cases that their partners have brought to market. Second of all, a clear business case and ROI. And thirdly, the ability to actually trial products and test them out whilst bringing them to market.
So Dee, can you tell us a bit more about what some of the key takeaways are for the banks that are watching too?
Of course, a lot of the focus with banking as a service is on the distributor due to their proximity to the end customer. But let's not forget that banks put the B in BaaS. Without the banks, there is no license holder, there is no banking as a service. So going back to the value pools, while volumes are low today, more than 70% of bank providers expect to pivot to SME lending and banking use cases. So we're seeing a bit of a split here. So the larger financial institutions are taking a dual-pronged approach, and they are either choosing to partner direct with the distributors or they're leaning on enablers to make that happen for them. And at the smaller end of the scale, the small banks, they're looking to go straight to the enablers and partner with them to make that happen. So to monetize banking as a service, the providers have 3 preferred approaches. Firstly, to offer specialized solutions, to offer front-to-back white label solutions, and also securing access to a marketplace.
Now, Josh, do you have a closing call to action for the report?
Sure. Well, businesses across all industries need to evolve faster than ever to keep their proposition relevant and stay top of mind for customers. What's interesting with banking as a service is that it enables companies to solve for customer problems that they could never do so before. The banking as a service market is leading a revolution in financial services, and we're convinced that it's just getting started.
Well said, Josh. And you can find out more in the reports. You can dig deeper into the value pools and the maturity index live at finastra.com.
Thank you so much for your insights. Both of you, it's just been absolutely fascinating really hearing about the start of this revolution in financial services. So thank you for showing us your insights. And also a big thank you to our viewers as well. You can catch the rest of the series and much more over at ffnews.com and of course YouTube, but especially LinkedIn where you'll see me in the comments. Thank you once again and goodbye.